He's Metz. He's...
Take two.
Let's see if this works, Mr. Shane. I'm not seeing it working there, Perry.
If anybody can see us, throw something in the chat.
The little eye is grayed out when it's normally black. Maybe it's because it knows we're supposed to do this show every other week, and we did one last week.
That could be. We're blackout dates.
Hold on. We're calling in reinforcements.
Ryan.
Hold. Oh, we got 3. Can you guys let us know if you can see us? You want to share? Oh.
Oh, Mr.
Here we go. Yes, we're live. There we go. Sorry, everybody.
So is the little eye still grayed out, or is it black?
It's still gray, but now there's numbers populating in
Mr. Perez, how are you, sir?
All right. So now I think this is working. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. Mr. Shane just got done robbing a jewelry store, so I'm glad he can be with us.
That was a Mission Impossible. I was a stand-in for Mission Impossible.
He was just scaling a building, so thank you for taking off your hood.
Yeah, I can put my black hat on if you'd like. I feel like I just need to roll the collar. Here, I did this with Chris Rodriguez, because if I put the zipper down, she never like that, right? Because I have a t-shirt on, so I zip it all the way tight. That's for Chris Rodriguez.
It just reminds me of Chuck Norris in the Octagon or something.
Oh, perfect.
Or A Force of One. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
He wore that same outfit, which is great that you just got that at the auction house. So anyway,
I just saw an ad. I just saw an ad. I guess I didn't realize. I never pay attention. He has a son, and his son was promoting something about healthy eating or something like that. He was saying, "You think this is martial arts? You think it's this? You think it's whatever the machine?" Him and dude, isn't that crazy? Think about this. Is a good marketing lesson. Do you remember what that machine was called? Oh, Total Gym. It just came to my mind. That was on infomercials. I didn't remember, but that was on infomercials for years. It might still be, right? Him and Brinkley.
Him and Christy Brinkley, I think we're doing.
Yeah. So when you think your market knows who you are, they don't.
Right. And then we have the martial arts school that's been in the community for 5 years, and they think they have a brand.
Right. Exactly.
We don't have a brand, anybody. You can change your name tomorrow and the community be still coming in saying, is something different? Did you paint your walls? No, we changed our logo and our entire name. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, go shave one eyebrow, everybody, and walk around and people will be like, there's something different about you, but they won't notice that one eyebrow's gone. Perry, will you do that for us?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the camera, it's invisible. Anyway, let's talk. The topic of the show is so look at this. People don't like the humor. They already sign off. We didn't even start the show and people are jumping off. They're like, all right, I'm done. But that's all right. We got our advertisers. Money is secure. Anyway, what's your passion as a martial arts professional? And that's the topic. And there was a reason I asked this question, or I wanted this to be the topic. But I would love to know anybody that's watching that would want to share. Did you ever think, not your passion, what's your mission? What's your mission as a martial arts professional? When you decided to work in the martial arts industry, or you decided to open up a school, either one, you're either a school owner or you're an instructor or you're a programmer or whatever. What's your mission? What are you doing it for? Some people may be doing it because they think it's an easy paycheck if they're a martial artist and they think that, it's just it's not work to me, right? That could be an answer. But have you ever really thought about what is your mission? Where do you want to go with this? What do you want to do as a martial arts professional? What is your mission as a martial arts professional? So that's the question. So Tass, do you have an answer?
No, I just,
All right, then we'll just cue the music. So we'll wait till people chat.
Well, I do. I mean, I think, and by the way, the mission doesn't have to be the mission it was when you started, right? I think everybody's maybe in a different spot. So I look back at when I opened, my first school, and I was whatever I was, 20 years old. It wasn't because I had a mission on impacting lives. I was in 2 years of college. I decided to quit school, be done, and I remember my high school English teacher saying, we're going to write a lot of papers. It was an honors English class. I was not an honor student. We're going to write a lot of papers, during the year. And if you write on something that you know about, a topic you know about and care about, you'll get an A in the class. I was not a great student. I could have been, didn't apply myself, just love to socialize, right? But I wrote about martial arts every paper, and I got an A in that class. And so after high school, did the college deal for 2 years, was going for computer information systems because my parents thought it would be a good idea because I was really proficient with the Apple II GS and the green monochrome screen. So therefore, it should be a good fit to go for computer information systems. Went for 2 years, decided I didn't like it, quit school, and didn't know what I was going to do. And that's when you come across teachers in your life or people in your life that say something that you don't know how it's going to affect somebody's life, right? And that's when I had kind of his words came into my head with, like, if I do something that I know about and care about, hopefully I can be successful doing that, right? And that was the reason that I got started doing martial arts. Is what I knew. I didn't have, I didn't want to do anything else. I really didn't have any other skill sets. I was 20 years old, as an example, other than working at the grocery store or waitering or bartending, things like that. And so that's when I started chasing it, right? And so now that was my mission then, was to be able to provide for myself and generate some revenue for myself, which was probably pretty selfish at that point. But you're looking to survive. Then as years go by, I think the mission starts to change, and for me anyways, the mission is, man, this is great. And we get lots of feedback from parents about, the impact that martial arts is having on their kids' lives. And so we start to appreciate that and think, man, what we're doing is making a difference. And now you have this mission of you want to impact more people's lives and students' lives and so on and so forth. And then that morphs into, you want to have an impact, and the mission is, can you provide careers for people? So, for me, it's really kind of morphed. And by the way, and then my mission is, can I help other martial arts school owners on the consulting side of it, right? Which is a little bit different, but can I help other martial arts school owners be successful, have bigger impacts for themselves and for their community? So, over the course of 30 years, that mission changes. And I believe that mission will continue to change and morph based off of where you're at, within your career, so to speak, or where you're at, within life. So that's been really the journey for me. And I know everybody, it's a little bit different. I remember hearing years ago, people do this business, and this is 25 years ago, I heard this. People do this business not to chase their pension, but to chase their passion, right? But today, fast forward 25 years, you can have both. You can do something that you're passionate about, and you can generate a lot of revenue and live an unbelievable lifestyle, if you follow systems. But, we're still going to, I know we're going to get people that are going to say, well, I just want to impact the community. And that's why I teach do my job, during the day. And I have 7 students that I teach at night, and I don't charge them because it's not about the money. It's about impacting lives. Okay. But if you're doing it for free, you're charging 20 or 30 or 50 or $80 a month, then why don't you have 800 students, right? And so that's the flip side of it. We can do both. But let's see what some of the comments here say about. We got one. Oh, Mr. Cost, we have 2. All right.
Yeah.
So let's help others. I think I do it best with martial arts. And Mr. Rivera, there are some of these martial arts starters need to focus on professional. I see there's much cyberbullying disrespect going on. You must be hanging out in the Century Martial Arts group. I'm not certain, but just a guess. Teach coach, they say they live by Bushido Code. My school, we have a dojo. Kun mission statement, karate code of ethics.
Look, I'm just going to call it out, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're in the martial arts business, like you, Tass, when I got in the martial arts business, I did 2 years of college, and I was like, man, this beats a regular job. I want to teach martial arts. If I could teach martial arts for a living, I hit the jackpot. And my mission was to be able to just make a living doing martial arts. That was my mission then, like you were saying, how things change, just to provide. And then as we grew, my mission was, well, how can I impact? I was frustrated. Because I was a small one school owner. And when I did that, I taught, and by the way, a lot of you on here probably would say that's nothing. And I get it. I'm just telling you what I did, but I taught every class, like every day for like 7 years. And I had Mr. Nick Peterman who would come in and help out or teach 2 classes on a Tuesday and 2 classes on a Thursday. Other than that, I taught every single class Monday through Saturday for like 7 years straight. I was still a small school owner. And then I started asking myself, is this it? Like, this is how many, I mean, this is how big this is going to get. How do I impact more people? How do I do this? You know,
and by the way, let me interject, because I don't know if you'll say this or not, because you're normally not very humble, but you might be today. I don't know if it's what's going on.
No, I won't be
mean,
today, not at all.
Because you also create high level athletes, world champions, right? And so at that point, and that was probably a big focus of yours at that point. And then thinking about, like, I have these world champions, but I can't grow my school. Like, it's like we talked about branding in the beginning. Nobody cares, right? I mean, you cared, of course, they care. It's a big deal for them. But it wasn't necessarily growing the school where you want, like, is this it? Is this all there is, right? So I just want to throw that out there.
In NASCA, you know, in sport karate competition, we had some of the best martial artists in the world in that realm, which is the realm that we played in. I mean, and we were at the top of the game in that, with our competition team, our demo team, individuals. So then it was like, wow, can we duplicate that? Okay. But then there gets to a point where it's like, what's next, right? And here's the story. So, and this is going to talk about your mission as a martial arts professional. Everybody's mission as a martial arts professional should be, part of it should be, to affect as many lives in a positive way as you can, to impact your communities in a positive way. I don't know why it wouldn't be part of your mission as a martial arts professional. Whether you save someone's life because they're going to get attacked tomorrow, whether you save someone's life because they're going to have a heart attack a year from now, but because they were doing martial arts, they got in better shape and they didn't have that heart attack, whether it's because there was a kid headed for gang life or bullying or going down the wrong path, and you develop discipline and confidence in this individual to strive in life. Your mission should be to impact more and do more for more people. So I remember my parents were in the tile business, and they were doing tile for this gentleman who had a carpet company, and he had taken his carpet company national. And this gentleman was in his 60s at the time, and I was in my early 20s. And I just wanted to know, every time they'd go and have dinner with the guy, because they became friends with him and his wife, I wanted to go. And I wanted to ask, how did you do that? How did you go national? And I was very frustrated thinking, I'm just another karate school owner. How am I going to go national, right? Because it's one thing to supply carpet to different units and hire salesmen to sell the carpet. And it's another thing to have high-level martial arts instruction and to be able to branch that out. I was just racking my brain. The point is, my mission changed. My mission then became, I want to impact more people, and I got to find a way to do it. And I got to try to find a way to do it without sacrificing quality. And so we did. We cracked that code. We figured it out. Today, my mission is, how do I take care of my people now? That's my mission. And I don't mean take care of my people to where they were like me for the first 7-10 years of running my business, where they're doing okay. Like, they do okay. I want them to do more than okay. How do I do that? Right? In the martial arts industry. And that's where we're at. And that's what we're doing today. And for those of you who are on here that are Maya clients or CMA affiliates, you know the Petermans and the Perrys and you guys know these guys are doing better than 99.9% of any school owner, and they're not owners, right? But it's about your mission. Now, if your mission falls into any of that stuff or is similar to what I said, meaning, man, I'd love to impact more people, more of my community, take care of my staff. Here's the elephant in the room. You can't do that without making more money. You can't do it. It's inevitable. You got to make more money if you want to expand, because if you don't, you're going to close. You need to make more money to expand, because when you expand, you can't be in two places at once. So you got to have enough money to support payroll. You got to have enough money to build out a school. You got to have enough money to pay a mortgage or pay rent on your facility. You got to
pay insurance.
You got to have money.
Be professional. Huh? Pay insurance and be professional, because yeah. I mean that these are the things that happen. And then you don't need insurance till you need insurance. I say that like tongue in cheek, but I mean, I just know so many martial arts school owners that, number one, went without health insurance. Well, I'm healthy. Okay, great. But what happens when you get hit by a car and you're in the hospital for 60 days or 90 days or something happens? Or what? I mean, we hope those things don't happen, but that's what insurance is for. What happens if something happens inside your martial arts school? As careful as you can be. I mean, I remember when we went from carpet over a cement floor to mats. And when we went to mats, I remember we were doing like jump 360s. You know the old Chumu form, right? The old Chumu form, you jump 360, right? 2 people inside of a year blew out their knee on those mats, right? Because this was early days of mats, and they were soft on top, and they were, soft all the way through. They weren't more firm on top and soft below like they are today. And not that that's a big deal, but if you don't have insurance for those things, some of those things can be a game changer for people, and it's the end of the game, right? Let me give you also a little pro tip. Whether you have a team or not, I was just talking to a client, and we've seen this. I've personally seen 1, 2, 3, probably 4 accounts of this in the last 12 months. 4 different accounts of this. You got to have a sexual misconduct writer. It's very inexpensive. You need to make sure that you have it, because it's one thing to have the bad PR. It's another thing not to have insurance to go along with that, right? So these are some of the things. That's just a pro tip, right? Make sure you guys have that if you don't, and if you're, and it doesn't matter how big or how small you are. I mean, it's just it's crazy stuff that can happen. So anyway, I'm getting off on a segue here, but it is important to know, what is that mission? What do you want to accomplish? I see Mr. Rivera, his police officer here. Well, look, police officers, if I remember right, they take your top, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. That becomes your retirement. And that could be a great, great career. And he wants to use martial arts as a retirement. I think that's a great idea, right? If that's what you're passionate about, that's what you want to do. Because by no means, I'm not recanting what I said earlier, because obviously, we appreciate people that are in other careers. We appreciate people that are police officers, law enforcement, serving, and any career. But if people are making an excuse as to why they don't have a full-time school, it's just that it's an excuse, right? Is there a reason to have both? Of course there is, right? And if you work with us or worked with us, we're never going to tell you to get rid of money, right? Or repel income and just go do this. We're going to make sure that we do it the smart way. So it's interesting. Now we're getting more people to respond here.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, and I love it, Mr. Gonzalez. I love the mission statement, right? But that singles out just your students. Our mission should be to get more of those students, to impact more of those lives, right? Why not? I'd love you to chime in and say, but here's where the frustration is. How long have we been doing this show, Tass? It's been 7 years plus. Yeah, 7 years. And a lot of times it's the same audience, but we know there's people that just don't chime in. They don't want us to see who's watching this, that, and the other. But if you're a school owner, when are you going to realize there's a formula to be successful? And when are you going to realize that it has nothing to do with sacrificing the quality of your instruction? I don't care what you teach. You could teach Tai Chi, you could teach yoga, you could teach MMA. Doesn't matter to me. Business is business. There is a system, there is a formula. Is our formula the only formula? No, but it's all I can say. It's a proven formula. I mean, I can tell you it's an absolutely proven formula, being that we've been around longer than anybody else that's consulting. I think 20 years consulting schools all around the world consistently and doing what we do and taking schools to seven figures. So, you know, we're going into 2024. Find some help from someone if you're just doing okay or if you're struggling, because there's more to it than that. Like me, I just couldn't keep going thinking, okay, I'm going on year 8. I'm going to teach every class and I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I don't understand people who just want to do okay. I don't understand that mentality. I really don't.
Especially as an entrepreneur, right? I mean,
but Tass, here's the thing though. So a martial artist will go get a business license and open their school and think they're an entrepreneur, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're a business owner.
Right.
They're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the other thing. We got to be honest.
They had an entrepreneurial seizure and they opened up a business. I think that's the way one of the books puts it, right? Then you have cash flow quadrant, right, where you're the employee and then you're self-employed. And because somebody is they no longer have the employee title, right? So they start throwing out titles like, well, I'm the CEO, or I'm the owner, I'm this. And again, those are all titles, right? But then the cash flow quadrant, the whole idea is to have a business and become an investor. So the majority of people that have martial arts schools went from being an employee at a different company to being self-employed, being their own employee, and they essentially become tied down to their school because they can never make it and turn it into a business, because a business requires systems, it requires more people, it requires team, it requires other employees, offering other people opportunities. And that's where the real magic happens, when you can get from that left side of that quadrant over the right side and you can have yourself a business. And when I say a business where you don't have to be there and it still generates revenue, there's a difference between having a martial arts school and say, well, I have a business, I can leave and go for a week's vacation, my school runs. Is it running without you there, or is it generating just as much revenue as if you were there? And that's really, and by the way, not for a week, but for 3 months or 6 months can it do that, right? And then you know that you've got a business, and then you can start to take some of that and you can start to, do invest things and so on and so forth. But it is, it's very interesting. There's a formula, like you said, there's a formula, and, my son's big into, online, marketing and doing different things. And, he's feeling it, right? So he graduated in May of this year, and here we are now in December, whatever it is, 7 months later. And his initial plan that he did and he was doing great with still is, it's becoming a grind for him, right? He's like, it's hard to scale. It's hard to do this. And now he's looking for other things that he can do online as well. And he's following some of these people, and there's a guy he's following on TikTok, and he knows how to look at their accounts and see how much they've sold, see all the stuff. And this guy does, on average, this guy makes he nets about $500 a day on average, right? The guy that he's following. So my son sent him a message and said, hey, I'm just curious how you're doing what you're doing. And the guy sent him a message back. He said, listen, he goes, if you want, he goes, I'll work with you. We'll do Zoom calls. I'll teach you everything that you want to know. It's $3,000. He goes, and I guarantee you that you'll get your $3,000 back, not in sales, but in profit. And if that doesn't happen, I got a contract and I'll give you your money back. And my son's like, well, what do you think? I said, well, first you got to go with your gut. But I said, I think you already know the answer. I said, I'm a coach. Like, everyone needs a coach. And I said, he goes, but I can just go look at the stuff he's doing on TikTok and I can figure it out. I said, you sound like martial arts school owners. Like, well, I can figure, yeah, we do an upgrade program. But he goes, I just don't know if there's secret sauce. I said, I guarantee you there's secret sauce. But you got to, and that's an investment in your future. If that's something that you really want to do, you need to find someone that can be a coach, right? And as long as you feel like, and I told him, this is what I said to him, what I would tell all of you, if you're going to do my elite, put it on a credit card. So if we don't deliver, you can do a chargeback on your card, but we will deliver. You'll be okay. But I told, I was just said, be mindful about that. But this is where it's that niche specific, right? So what you know from your uncle, right, or your friend's dad about business, it's like you can go listen to all the Tony Robbins stuff, Zig Ziglar, all the people. You're going to get great information, but you're going to have a very difficult time trying to take that information, massage it, and make it work in the martial arts world. When you're there, you're hyped up, it's exciting, you're like, I get it, and then you're trying to figure out how to make that work in your martial arts school. It's already been done for you by people way before us that preceded us, right? And we've just taken all the information from the clients and continue to evolve and make it better and better and better and better. So, you said there's a lot of different ways to do it. It is a proven system. And like I said, I don't know if you're having a little humble pie today or what, but normally he would say, there's a lot of places out there to get consulting, but we're the best.
Well, no, dude, you hit it spot on. And by the way, I brought up Mr. Klingenmeyer because just going back on something. Well, Mr. Klingenmeyer, I remember when he was a full-time school teacher. And, Mr. Klingenmeyer now is a consultant and helps schools. But way back when he became on as a client, he was a full-time school teacher and was like, I would love, just like some of the people on here, I'd love to retire from the school system maybe, or I'd love to whatever. And done. We did that. I mean, in 18 months, 24 months, I don't remember what it is. I remember saying, I don't think you need to go back in the fall if you don't want to go back in the fall or something like that. And the rest is history. I mean,
I'm going to listen, this is going to scare people. But if my memory serves me correctly with Mr. Clinton, there may have been a pattern interrupt that had happened, right? This is where you can take the Tony Robbins knowledge and make use of this. Because I think you were working with him for either you hadn't started working with him yet, or you were working with him, and there was a phone call. And I think it went something like, "Well, when you get serious about your business, give me a call back." And it was kind of like one of those deals. I don't know if I remember Klingenmeyer telling me about that. It was basically, I won't say you hung up on him, but it was a pretty short conversation, and I think that hit him like a ton of bricks. And for him, it was, I don't want to speak for him, right? But if I remember that story right, it was that pattern interrupt, like, damn, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, then came the success. And I think a lot of us need that. And a lot of us aren't capable of doing that ourselves. We need someone to shoot us straight and tell us the way that it is. And maybe metaphorically grab you by the arms or shoulders and just shake you to make you understand there's more possible. And you can do it. You just need to pay attention and listen. And again, not because it's us, but because it's the business systems that have been proven over and over. Do you remember that? Do you remember?
I don't remember that, but now that you mentioned, I think I remember bits and pieces or something to that nature. I think maybe Klingenmeyer's mentioned that.
He just said that's true.
But I mean, I think probably said that 50 times
right.
to people in one way or another. Right? Because it's interesting, like your son, I want to learn how to do this. I'm following this guy. The guy's making $500 profit a day. I call him up. Hey, I'll teach you. It's $3,000 and I'll teach you. Well, wait, should I do that? Like, this is where we get scared. We look at things as an expense. Now, the guy may not deliver and may steal his money. May lose $3,000. I promise you in a couple of years from now, that $3,000 would be irrelevant. Right. Number one, but it's in a contract. He'll give you your money back if you don't, this and there. But the worst I would lose is $3,000. Is it worth the gamble to possibly change the rest of my life?
Right.
Yes, $3,000 is worth the gamble. Right. I mean, there's just nothing about it.
Correct.
Right. And look, all I can tell you is it's the same thing with us guys. It's the end of the year. I just put you on mute if you didn't see, and I asked Miss Stephanie Connor, who's sitting across from me, to tell one of the guys to put the link for people who want to just learn about My Elite, who maybe know about My Elite, people who think they know about My Elite, people who were in My Elite 10 years ago and think it's the same as it was 10 years ago. There's an evolution. We've evolved. Just go there and look. And here's the deal. With us, give us 90 days. And if we don't change the trajectory of your school in 90 days, just quit. I mean, it's that simple. Just quit. And by the way, people that quit in 90 days, a lot of them come back because they realize it wasn't us, it was them.
Right.
They just didn't execute.
Right.
You and I just talked yesterday. There's some clients we have. I asked how so-and-so. Great person, great people, but I don't know how well they execute. I don't know if they execute. If you don't execute, you're not going to get results. If you do execute, I don't care if you're doing $1 million. Should I say, I won't mention the name just out of respect, but we had a client that joined us when they were doing $800,000 a year.
Yeah. Now, I mean, just pause on that alone. Don't even go to the next part yet. But a client joined when they were doing $800,000 a year.
Yes.
The majority of people watching would just want to get to $800,000 a year, right?
They had a mission, though. They had a mission on what they wanted to do, and it wasn't enough. They wanted to do more. They wanted to be bigger. They wanted to impact more. Most people in the martial arts industry that are doing $800,000 a year don't call Maya or start getting consulting. The majority of them don't, because they're not just doing okay. They're doing really good. But we're not here to make you really good. We're here to make you the best you possibly can do or be. So they joined $800,000 a year, and they're on track this year to do, what was it, 1.6?
I think it was 1.6, yeah.
Yeah, double, 1.6 million from 800,000.
Now, same location, not multiple schools, same location, right? Everything the same
location, same one school, one location. But my point is sometimes that's challenging to take a school from 800. Well, it's more challenging all the time to take a school from 800 to 1.6 than it is to take a school from 100,000 to 800,000. To take a school that's doing 100 grand a year to 800 is easier than going from 800 to 1.6. It just is. But my point is, regardless of where you're at, if you want to do more, we can help you. And I'm sure we're not the only ones, but I can only speak for us. We can help you guys go to the next level with your school. And that's the frustration. This is me like doing this now because we get calls every day. People are fishing. They're just, and the thing is we'll answer questions and we'll do whatever. But when you're ready, we'll help you. But there's a cost. There's a cost. Your son wants to know, how did this guy get to five? The guy didn't wake up, start making a TikTok video and start making $500. The guy invested a lot of time, energy, effort, trial and error, money. And now you just want him to just give you all the stuff at no cost for free. There's no value in that.
Well, there's either way, there's a price to pay. You're either going to wait and figure it out over time, and it's going to take you 10 years to get there, right? Or the same thing back to Robbins, right? You turn decades into days because you're standing on the shoulders of giants, and you know what you need to do, and it's streamlined and fast, and you can begin today. And there's a price for that, right? And there's a price for waiting as well. Both of them you can do.
And I'm gonna reiterate my mission. My mission is to take care of my people. Therefore, there's got to be revenue coming in. But we only can generate a lot of revenue and be the best and the biggest if we do an unbelievable job and change people's lives. If we don't do that, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to be able to take care of my people. I mean, it has to be a win-win-win all around. It has to be a win for everybody. And then everybody's happy. But listen, it's just so interesting. I know we're not the easiest to listen to, right? And not everybody appreciates the humor. Not everybody wants to hear us come across as if you're not doing good enough. Like, nobody wants to hear it. So they're going to turn us off. They're going to move on, right? Because we don't want to accept that shit. We don't want to hear it, especially as martial artists. But this industry, when are you guys going to all, and I say you guys, I don't mean the ones watching right now. You guys, me included as an industry, I've woken up. I just know the numbers. When are we going to wake up and realize our industry sucks as a business? I mean, we just don't do as good as we should. Too many martial artists struggle, and it does not need to be that way. But we're scared. We don't want to be told what to do. I have 10 degrees on my belt. I'm a world champion. Who are you to tell me how to run my school? It's all this nonsense. Well, you're struggling. And maybe not struggling. You'll justify and be like, I'm not struggling. I'm perfectly happy. Can you be happier? And here's the test. This is the question. If you're so good at what you do, if you're so good as an instructor, you should be taking people to black belt and beyond. You should have a slew of black belts in your school if you're really that good, right? What are you going to do if 4 of them walk in your office and say, sir or ma'am, you changed my life. My passion is martial arts. I want to make this my career. The 4 of us got together. We talked about it. We want to work for you and we want to be instructors. We want to quit our job. We want to come work for you. Can you hire us? If your answer is no, right, then you're not doing good enough. You are not doing good enough, because shame on you if you can't help those kids, those students that want to make it a career. Or you could say, well, I'll tell you how I did it, and you guys can all go open your own schools. And they'll probably struggle. And they'll be able to say no to their 4 black belts when they do it. Or you can learn the formulas of business, or just understand the business model and systemize things to where you could say, I absolutely would love to have you guys on board. Would love to bring you on. And by the way, I'm going to give you an unbelievable opportunity here. Health insurance, vacation plan, retirement, career path, everything. I'm going to take care of you guys. That's where you start making a huge impact.
You know, dude, you just remind. So I'm up at deer camp, right? You just reminded me of something. So this week is like the antlerless hunt, right? So killing off more doe. Well, the reason is so they don't reproduce, right? Like, this is the whole idea. They were trying to control the deer population. And as you're saying this, I'm just thinking about this in martial arts terms. You know, sometimes it can be hard to stop that train because we all know there's no restrictions on a janitor of a school, no offense, right? A plumber, no offense. Anybody can go open up a martial arts school, put up a name on the building with a big empty space and start martial arts tomorrow. And this is part of the problem. And I'm reminded of the movie Multiplicity, right? You remember that with Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
Right? Like we're doing something, and if we haven't gotten the help and the knowledge to run a successful school, and I'm not talking about the students you produce, because you all have to understand the business systems are different than your operational curriculum and the things that you do. We just overlay the business systems over your martial arts school. If you teach great students, you'll continue to have great martial arts students. If you teach students that suck, they'll continue to suck, although we can help you with that too. But we lay those business systems over top to affect your revenue and everything else, right? But if you don't get that help, and then someone, like you just gave the example, someone comes to you, they want to, how many times does somebody spin off and then they go, because they can't have a career with their existing instructor because their existing school owner can't make it work for themselves. So then they spin off and they go do their own thing. And then someone from there spins off and goes, this is why the industry as a whole, in my belief, is why the industry as a whole is not looked at professionally, because we didn't have the right business model from the beginning to put everybody into. It was a lot of trial and error, and people just did it. And now there's no excuse for that anymore. There is a right way to do martial art business. And there's a few ways to do it correctly, but there's a whole lot more ways to do it wrong. And this is why you see the Josh Frys of the world saying, I just want people to look at us and not laugh when we say we're a martial arts instructor, we own a martial arts school. They want to, you need to have doctor, lawyer, right? Martial arts school owner, all at that same level. And that it's very difficult for that to happen if you're not training yourself, and if you're not educating yourself and taking yourself to the next level, not only in your martial arts business, right, as far as a martial artist, but in the business of martial arts, right? I think if you take out what is your mission for your martial art business, well, what's the mission of every business, right? I think the mission of every business is you got to generate revenue, and you got to give a product and something that helps somebody. I mean, that's just what business is. But there's way too many, and this is almost feels like this is why I feel like it's an uphill battle for us, right? It's this snowball effect of there's more and more people opening schools that are not educated on the business side. And those are the same schools that closed during COVID, after COVID. They're still struggling now. They close now. They're going to close because they're running out of idle money. All the reasons. And then you're wondering why people won't join your martial arts. It's the back in the day. It's just so funny. Here we are wearing black today. You went to 2 years of college. We both did. I mean, our paths are very similar. So now I'm gonna talk about the health club, right? Your mom was in the health club business. I was in the business, and it reminds me of the health club business where people would come in and they would do a pre-sale in town, and they have out of a 500 square foot little location, like, oh, we're gonna open a health club, and here's what it is, you pay in full. And 6 weeks later, they fold up and they close, and they'd be gone in the next town, take everybody's money and steal it. I'm not saying that's what's happened with martial arts schools. But then when you had someone come to a legitimate health club to want to join your health club, right? The health club I worked at, they were skeptical and scared because they saw all these health clubs were closing. Well, that's the same thing that's happened in the martial arts industry. Like, who's going to come into a martial arts school and whether it's pay $150 a month or prepay for a year or for a long-term program, if that's been their experience and they've seen those things happen? This is why, as a whole, we all need to prop up the industry and get it to a new level. And this is why you should be helping the person down the street, not hurting them, because if they close, it's going to be harder for you as well. Everybody can win. You can have plenty of martial arts schools in the same town. You can all win. You can all be successful, but we've got to help. We've got to pull each other up to the next level and become more professional in what we do. And that's why, I mean, look, you know this, Metz, you can go into a school right now. You could probably get, well, you could do it in a church if you wanted for next to nothing, right? You could spend $1,000 a month on rent, do it on a hard floor, no mirrors, paint your stencil up on the thing, and you could probably open a martial arts school for under $5,000. Literally, you could probably do that, right? We did our build out for our school. It was a $100,000 build out. There's a difference between a $5,000 build out and a $100,000 build out, right? And it's no offense. I started when I was, young. And I didn't have the cash to do that, right? So I started and built it up, but I always put money back in the school, and I still do those things today. So because the barrier of entry in owning your own martial arts school is so low, that's why so many people get into it, right? Because they can. And it's also why it's easy to get out of it, because a lot of people are doing month-to-month memberships. As an example, they don't have a lot invested in the school. If they close, they close, they'll go on to their next venture. And that's just not the right thing to do. So there's so much help available. And I would encourage, if you see somebody struggling, like help them or guide them to help. And you can't help everybody, but it's the old starfish story on the ocean where there's thousands of starfish, right? And they're all washed up on shore, and kid picks one up and throws it back in and picks another one up. And they say something along the lines of, you're never going to be able to throw all those starfish back on the floor. You're not really going to make a difference. And he picks one up and he throws it back. I said, well, I made a difference in that one's life. Like, who can you make a difference, right? It's like the students in your school. Maybe you can affect. Maybe your mission is you want to affect your entire community, all the people in your community. It's impossible for you to affect everybody in your community. But if you go in with that mindset, the people that you get in front of, you will have an impact on, and you will have an influence in their lives. If you're serious, if you're passionate, and you're not chasing dollars, but you're more about really want to change people's lives, which I believe most all of us are. I think that's a commonality that we have as martial arts instructors. Our goal, our mission, I think, where we can all agree, maybe not on price, how much to charge, upgrades, charge testing fees, not charge testing fees, but I think we all can agree our goal and our mission is to help people become better citizens, better, more well-equipped, more confident people. I think we can probably all agree on that. But if we could all get in the same playing field, it would make life easier for everybody.
100%. Well said. And what you said about the schools and the health clubs, Tass, it's the same reason why some people don't call Maya or us, because they've been burned by another consulting group, or they've been burned by another whatever, right? But doesn't mean they're all bad or whatever. I mean, look, at the end of the day, where are we at? Next Thursday is what? We have one more show before the end of the year, I think. Not next Thursday, but the Thursday after.
21st, maybe.
Yeah,
I think
is
the
that what?
21st. Yeah.
Yep. So make a change. Do better. I mean, do better. And by the way, here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. If you joined us, I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, it's not easy. Success is not easy. Success is not easy, especially in the beginning. It's difficult in the beginning. It's hard. It's work. But then you systemize. I mean, but to get those systems is hard. And a lot of people don't want to do it because we're doing all right and we're comfortable and it's easy. So we'll just stay all right. We're not in the business for people if that's your mission, if that's what you want to be, is just good. If you want to be not great, if you want to be the best you could possibly be in your business, it's hard work. It's hard. But I don't care if you've been an elite, if you're an elite now in Maya, or if you were a past person who quit, no one's going to say that we weren't there for you. I mean, you got a whole team here. All you got to do is text or pick up the phone. I mean, we will always hold your hand, bring you through it, push when you need to be pushed, carry when you need to be carried, but we just can't do it for you. Right. That's the difference. And some people, they just don't want to go through that. But it's what would you say, Tass? A year, sometimes longer for some, maybe a little shorter, but on average, is it a year or 18 months of the hard part, the hardest part, or what?
Yeah, it depends on where you're at and what you're currently doing, right? Like for me, when I came on board, I came on board as a client in July at the Super Show, and by October 1st, excuse me, by October 1st, I had every system like implemented. Now, it doesn't mean that things were easier, right? But I worked my ass off for 2.5 months or whatever it was to get everything ready and launched. And for others, it takes longer. It depends on how hard-headed you are, how stubborn you are.
Make it clear that wasn't just this past July.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just to be clear, that was 12 years ago. But it's how stubborn are you? How many times am I going to hear from you? Well, the way we do it, our town is this is that. Like, we joke about this sometimes because I say, like, when I onboard a new client, as an example, everybody has a story, right? And it's my job to listen to your story. Even though if you just tell me the first 2 sentences, I can finish the entire story for you. But in all fairness to you, I do need to hear your story, but I need you to hear my story. And I need you to hear what I'm telling you not works for my location. It works for hundreds of locations, and you're no different. I don't care where you're located, what you do. Your answer to your question is, it depends how fast people execute and implement. The more that you, and by the way, I have clients, and you know this, I've got clients that implement really fast. I've got clients that just don't execute, and I've got clients that it's the slow and steady, and it's one foot in front of the other. And it's been an experience watching, because even those clients, over a relatively short period of time, right, have a lot of success just by taking and putting one foot in front of the other and constantly every day doing something, right, to get to that next level. But yeah, I think over the course of 18 months, I mean, look, the education that you're going to get, some of the things you've heard, some of it's going to be small tweaks and details that are going to make a profound difference in your business. But here's the thing. It's the same there's 12 months in the year. We teach the education on what to do during all of those 12 months and the business, the overall systems that we do forever. But then once we learn that, it's really a rinse and repeat, and it's disguising repetition. But it's like anything. Okay, so you taught me how to sweep from the guard position, and I learned that for month 1. Well, does that mean by month 12, and now I go to month 13, and now we're going to go back to rotating curriculum, and we're going to work on the sweep? Oh, no, I already got this down. I'm a professional because I did this last year. I worked on this. I'm not going to be a professional. I need to work on it again, right? And over time, you're going to experience where you understand it. You've got it's like an onion. You've got a deeper understanding. You're peeling back layers. You're like, oh, I remember the schedule was one of those things for me. The schedule was like, I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world when I first saw it as a client. I'm like, these guys need to make up their mind. Like, listen to me, right? As a dumb client. These guys need to make up their mind. Is it beginner class? Is it basic class? Like, what is it? Because I didn't understand it. But I remember a year and a half later, I'm like, God dang, the schedule is freaking brilliant. because I started to peel back the layers and really understood what the power of the schedule was. But I had the faith to execute and implement and make the change. And it was more of a ready, fire, aim, right? That was my mentality. But again, I can say that I did it because broke. I was in foreclosure. I was in bankruptcy. And we move a lot faster when you're trying to avoid pain than when you're trying to gain pleasure, right? And so some of us haven't gotten into a painful enough situation in our business to make a difference or make a change. And it's the dumbest thing that you could do. It's the dumbest thing I could have done. I should have gotten help before that. It would be similar, and I hope I don't get backlash for this. I want to be mindful how I say this.
All right, I'm not saying it. This is Shane, everybody.
But it's like waiting until well, let me say two things, right? I'm not going to put a smoke detector in my house until after I have a fire because I really don't think I need it. That's one example. The other example is not taking a self-defense class until something happens to you, right? And that can be a little touchy because nobody ever asked for those things to happen, right? So I want to be very mindful about how I say that. But my point is like you've said the whole show, when are you going to make the decision to see, can you be the best version of yourself? And can you get your school to that next level and be the best? It's up to you. January is a great time for New Year's resolutions, but you all know this as martial arts school owners and instructors. If you're only teaching your students about setting goals in January, we don't understand our business, right? We set goals every 2 months, 3 months, whatever it may be, to go from one belt level to the next. So whether you decide to start today, January, June, I mean, here's what I believe if we had every elite client on here right now and we asked the question, knowing what you know now, would you have waited to start elite later? Would you have started at the same time, or would you have done it earlier? The answer across the board, I would have joined sooner, would be the answer across the board. I think about it, man, if I was part of elite when I was 20 years old instead of when I was 37 or 38, man, my life would have been drastically different because I would have had a 17-year jump on things, right? So it's interesting, but yeah, man, it's all in the person who takes action. Listen, business is never easy, right? But it's easier when you have the systems, the education, the support system, and hundreds of people that are there rallying for you that are all like-minded, wanting to accomplish the same thing. Going to tournaments, listen to the same old people puff their chests about their martial arts school, that round of the nearest 100 students, right? None of that's going to help your business. It really doesn't. Is that what they round to, the nearest 100? Yeah, they have 126 students, and all of a sudden they have 200 students in their school. So anyway, that's my rant on that. But it's just because, listen, it's changed one decision. It was a 2.5-hour process, but one decision literally changed the trajectory of my life forever. And that's why we talk about it, because it could do the same for you. And we see this happen with the clients that we have. That decision that they made has been, it's a big rounding error. That decision they made has changed a lot of lives. And it's funny, what happens is, I was just talking to some clients today, and they're like just so grateful and thankful. Like, you changed I said, I didn't do anything. All I did was give you the information. You did all the work, because at the end of the day, we're just the conduit. We're just the messengers delivering what you should do, but it takes work on the other end to get it done. And when you do the work, you see the reward. And when the reward comes, I'm telling you, if you're anything like me, your identity will change as to who you are and what you actually accomplish, because you're being rewarded monetarily for what you're doing. It doesn't mean if you're not making a lot of money that you're not changing lives and making a difference. But I tell you, it sure does change your identity. When you start making more money, you can provide for your family. You can hire a team. You don't necessarily have to be at your martial arts school because you've got a full-time team. You're changing their lives. It offers you the opportunity to be able to spend time with your family. I didn't have those things, man. When my kids were growing up, I was a nonstop in the martial arts school. I missed sports events. I missed parent-teacher conferences. I missed all the things because I was so focused, and I was strapped to my business, right? And there's systems out there that can help you to kind of get away from that if you want to, and can help you be more successful in your school. So a lot of clients watching. I know a lot of our clients had an just a record December and record November for some. And they're changing lives. They're making a difference. They're changing their own lives. They're changing the lives of their families. And it's just so great to see, because some of the people that are on here, I know the struggles that they had, and I know where they were, and I know where they are today. And sometimes we forget, when we climb that ladder one step at a time, we forget how far we've actually come till we take.
I thought he'd never stop talking. Mr. Shane just got kicked off, everybody. Here he is. No, that's not him. Hold on. Here he is.
I think there's a time limit on my.
I just said, man, I thought
I heard you. I heard you. I'm glad he stopped talking. So I'm happy. I'm excited for everyone that's taken action and changing their lives, man. Changing the lives of people around you, for sure.
Yeah, look, this rant and the rambling, and I do it too. It's passion to help people that we know we can help. And Mr. Johnson, great to see you. Hope recovery is going well. And yeah, we'll have one more show 2 weeks from today before the end of the year. But Christmas wish, stop talking. There you go. There you go. So there you go, Miss Spycar. Good to see you. Record holiday event, still following Maya systems. At the end of the day, look, the industry needs to be better. I mean, we need to be better and professionalize the industry. The other thing, going all the way up to CJ Rivera in the first comments, it's ridiculous that our industry specifically will bash other people in the century, in any of the Facebook groups. They'll bash people. Someone will post a video and then everyone will just critique how horrible that is. Or, it's just ridiculous. I mean, that tells you right there that we're not educated in this frickin' industry and we're idiots.
If that is a group of martial arts school owners and that is the commentary that's happening, that is how you run your school, we have a long way to go to professionalize this industry.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, and you don't know the jokes that are made behind the sines from some of your comments. Not you, but whoever makes those comments. Maybe you are watching when you're bashing someone else, when you're saying, anything about somebody else's business or the quality of their students. Let people do what they can do, and just do you, and don't bash. Lift them up and help. It's just ridiculous. So again, we end the show with, what's your mission as a martial arts professional? Is your mission to make people feel worse about themselves? Is your mission just to do okay? Is your mission just to survive and make a little extra bucks? If that's your mission and you're doing that, God bless you. But I would say that's a justification. That's an excuse. That's why that's your mission, because you're afraid to say, my mission is to make $1 million a year in this business and supply careers and impact more people, because you don't believe you'll be able to do it. So you're not going to make that your mission because you don't want to be a failure. I mean, that's just human nature. So yeah, we're pretty straight. I mean, and by the way, everything that I say outward is the stuff that I say to myself inside, right? I say, stop bullshitting yourself, Mike. I mean, you're making an excuse, and I call myself on it every single time. So anyway,
Mr. Belichevsky, if you want to give me a call, I can help you reset some goals. We need to set some better goals for you.
Who's that?
Mr. Belichevsky.
That's funny. Right. You're shooting too low, sir.
Yeah.
Way too low.
As we said, don't be good. You need to be the best. So
right.
Let's not shoot for a mission to be like Mike.
Right. You need to be like Shane.
That's right.
Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in.
Appreciate you guys.
Go get
Have a great day. Listen, we got time. We've got time to finish the month strong. No excuses. No excuses.
Check out Maya. Call us. Who's going to work hard enough to actually try to find our phone number to try to call us?
That's right.
Email us. Who's going to work to email and just get some information on, can we really help you? Or, I really can't stand you guys. I don't believe in your philosophies, but tell me, how are you going to help me if I don't believe in your principles or philosophies? Call and ask us that question. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys.
Everybody, thank you guys. Appreciate everyone. Have a great
week.
It's
all out of love. It's all out of passion.
That's right.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Ash, good luck out there.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye,
See ya.
guys.